Good day, it's Johan speaking, the CTO of Acuvate. Welcome to this next webcast. We're in this webcast in May. We want to talk about our latest Microsoft Fabric-based developments. So these are all developments we did in Acuvate around the Microsoft Fabric data and AI platform. As you know, we are an important Microsoft partner, and part of that is Fabric is a very important component to build our future from a data and AI platform. So these are the subjects we're going to talk about. So it's quite a broad spectrum of development we've done, all based around Fabric in different parts. Mainly in the verticals, it's very much in the manufacturing space and in the energy space. But of course, we also worked with solutions very much applicable for any other verticals. First, talk about Acuvate. Acuvate is a system integrator. That means we are bringing system integrator. That means we are not a product company, but we're bringing end-to-end solutions to the market. We have three practices. One is the data analytics, data and AI practice. I'm part of the data and AI practice as a CTO. Where we're looking at, how do we collect the data? What kind of sensors do we need? How can we use edge facilities? How can we use Fabric as an enterprise data and AI platform? What's the AI we can apply? Machine learning, machine vision, Gen AI, Agentic AI, you name it. And how can we visualize the data in digital twins or other things? All kinds of things we're going to talk about today. Our second practice is the AI automation practice, very much a focus on Agentic AI and Gen AI in a broad spectrum of applications. And the third one is about work desk automation. What can we do different with SharePoint? How can we work in a more efficient way in a workplace environment? We are about a 500 people company. Our customer base you see on the right is around the world. Our customers are in US, Europe, and Middle East, some in Asia. And we got so-called accelerators here at the top. Being a system integrator, we don't have products, but accelerators. And accelerators are tools in various parts of our business where we really can speed up deployment and activities. I'm going to talk about some of these accelerators today in our call. If after this call you have any other questions, please reach out to our specialist, go to our home site, and please you can ask for any type of information or any help you need. First, a broad introduction, AQ7. AQ7 is really all about our 7 steps approach of collecting data. Number one, what's the data I need to solve a particular business problem? In the world of digital, it's really the data who drives the solution. So you define your business problem in digital terms, or business terms, and then you say, number one, what's the data I need to solve that business problem? How do I get that data? I do the edge environment on number three, where it is really where it's time critical. So I might have time critical solutions which I need to respond to immediately in the edge environment. If it's not time critical, I bring it to number four. And number four is really our data, our enterprise data and AI platform. So it's all about data. To get value out of data, we move to number five. And number five, apply analytics, very simple analytics, very complex AI, machine learning, machine vision, Gen AI to that data to get value out of that data. And then number six, we make that data, the results visible either in dashboarding, in digital twin, you name it. It's really our end-to-end story of a system integrator, how to do everything about data and AI. And we're going to talk about various aspects where Fabric plays a role today in this webcast. You see the same slide over here. Here's some of our partners. I'll skip this quite quickly. You can look at it when you look at this presentation later. So AQ7 is really that end-to-end framework. It's important that we also focus on the OT space in manufacturing and energy. OT is an important element of collecting data. And we're going to show you special solutions we have to collect high-speed OT data as well into Fabric. Our enterprise data in our platform, AcuPrism, is one of our accelerators. Yeah, and this is an example of accelerator. On the left, in the yellow pieces, you have the various facilities, your plants, your production lines, your platforms, onshore platforms, offshore platforms, your wind farms, you name it. Where you collect the data, you collect your OT data, your IT data, and your ET data. You can bring it to the brown part. It's really your edge environment if it's time critical. Otherwise, you bring it to Microsoft Fabric. And Microsoft Fabric has two elements here. Overall, it has a data element based on top of the One Lake platform, and it has an AI or an AI environment. Again, the data is in the One Lake environment, but then you have your AI solutions developed using AI Foundry. So Fabric here is our enterprise data and AI platform, where we're collecting data from various sources, bring together to Fabric, where we can apply the medallion architecture, where we can apply, where we bring the data from bronze to silver to gold, and we can apply data contextualization to align data, naming conventions, for instance, between various data sources. So that's Microsoft Fabric, and then the green part, we visualize the results in either dashboarding, Microsoft Copilot, various digital twin solutions, etc. This is our AcuPrism enterprise environment. It includes embedded ISA 95 data models. We're going to talk about that later. It's a new feature we've added to AcuPrism as an accelerator. Let's really bring that end-to-end story together in a simple, speediest way. Yeah, you can read some more later. Let's first talk about what I'll talk about, collecting OT data. On the left, if you have manufacturing facilities or if you have energy facilities, on every facility, on every platform, on every production site, on every factory, you will have where you're collecting time series data, OT time series data. That can be pressure data, temperature data. It's collected in an OT space. It can be collected using Aveva, OSIsoft Pi interfaces, and that in OT, and then the data is in our case streamed real time to Microsoft Fabric. So the data does not stay in the OT space. The data goes real time via the gateway between OT and IT, secure gateway, from OT real time to Fabric. And once you have real time in Fabric, you can apply AI to that, machine learning, machine vision, whatever AI you want to do to that data. So in Fabric, we store all our historical OT data, our current data, our historical data from many, many, many years back, all stored in the Fabric environment. So if you have on the left many factories, if you have 40 factories, 50 factories, 10 factories, and every factory is collecting data at the OT space, then all of these Pi interface gateways will be connected to a single Fabric implementation somewhere in the world, being your enterprise Microsoft Fabric data and AI platform, where all that data of all the factories comes together, and they can supply analytics and other things to that data. You find some more slides of more detailed information about our solution. So our solution is quite unique, that we can stream the data direct, real time, I repeat, real time, from every site to your global Fabric implementation. There's nothing in between, there's no caching in between. It goes immediately to the Fabric environment. And you find more details about it in the slides, which you can look at your leisure later. So it's important that we talk about here about time series data. If you're familiar with that space, then you know that the frequency of these messages is very high. It can be every second, every 2 seconds, every 5 seconds, every millisecond. Depends on what the setup is. These messages are very short, because they can be just temperature values, pressure values, rotations, you name it. And of course, in the case of Fabric, we store these in the KOL data store and can use the KOL for also manipulating data. So it's fully integrated in your Microsoft Fabric environment. So this is all about collecting OT high-speed streaming data from your OT Pi environment into a Fabric space. We have implemented this at Adura. Adura is a company in the UK, a joint venture between Shell and Equinor, a Norwegian oil and gas company, where they connected their offshore platforms to a single enterprise data and AI platform. Let's now talk about AccuLoom. AccuLoom is a very new accelerator we have, and it's really for you to help with the development of multi-tenant solutions for Fabric. When is it relevant? Let's assume you're a software company and you bring software solutions to the market and you want to run these solutions for your customer. We have customers doing that. So you might have a product, you want to bring that to the market, and then multiple of your customers are making use of that product. To avoid that you implement that solution uniquely for every customer, you can go for a multi-tenant solution where you have shared facilities between all implementations and unique facilities for any particular customer. Why is this relevant? Because it makes the setup much more simple for you as a service provider, as a SaaS service provider, because it runs in your subscription. But instead of having every customer within your subscription, that full own environment, you have a hybrid of that. And again, you find a lot of information about it in these slides, but let's show you this picture. On the left, you see the users being different customers from you. And they have a tenant 1, tenant 2, tenant 3. They might have a web front end. The application might be a web front end, so you share a web front end. And then the web front end has an interface to your back office environment in Fabric. And you see the first part are the components unique to a tenant. And the last is the common workspace. And the common workspace is the information which is shared between tenants. It can also be a Cosmos database, which of course I can install a Cosmos database or SQL environment, a single environment, but separated for different tenants, fully logical separated. So that could be the part on the right. If I things in the middle which are unique, which I really need to maintain per customer, then of course I have my workspace for my tenant 1, 2, 3, etc. And this really gives you a much simpler environment, and we call it AccuLoom, to help you speed up the deployment of multi-tenant solutions for your business applications. Then we spoke before about ISO 95. ISO 95 is a data model heavily used in the process industry. It has personnel elements, it has equipment elements, material elements, and process segment elements. They're all embedded in your ISO 95 data model. And we've embedded this data model, we've reported and implemented it in a fabric environment. This we have done very recently, so this only came to the market maybe 1 to 2 months ago. But it gives you another means of standardizing your fabric environment. In this case, if you use for process data, for OT data, or related IT data, then ISO 95. Also from a unified naming convention point of view, from a mesh point of view, could be very, very relevant for you. Microsoft Fabric IQ developments. IQ is very much about ontologies. And Microsoft launched the Fabric IQ tooling in preview in November last year. Today, in May, it is still in preview. I'm not sure when exactly when it goes into production, but we start developments. We start developing solutions for the manufacturing space since late last year. So we have a number of solutions, a number of implementation of ontologies for manufacturing, where we have a full implementation of a solution in manufacturing based on ontology. And I'll talk about that in a moment. So this is all part of the IQ developments. So IQ is a new element, as I mentioned, since November last year, preview of Fabric. And let me show that in more detail. It has a number of layers, you would say. The first layer, of course, making sure that you bring all the data together. So bring your data together, let's say, in the Fabric environment, and have your data sources connected to Fabric and bring it together over there. Then process and harmonize the data. So you might be then contextualize the data. You might be cleansing the data with the medallion architecture, but you really make sure that the data in your Fabric data and data AI platform is aligned, is cleansed, and can be used by your AI layer and by your enterprise semantic model. And then on top of your enterprise semantic model, you have your ontology layer, and on top of that you got your agents and your Copilot environment. I'll show that in a moment. When we're talking about Microsoft Ontology, you got three components. You got the Fabric, you got the knowledge, and you got the Foundry elements. Again, I'll explain that in a moment. But really, when Ontology is really important. It sits on top of your data layer. Why it's so important? Because it means that a business user can talk to the ontology in his business language. He doesn't need to worry about IT language, but he can use his business namings for the way you have. You can use your business language and your business naming for accessing that data. So that's why ontology is so important, because it describes your business in business language, and then you can use things like Copilot or dashboarding in your own language to get access to that data and learn anything about that data. So here we first talk about the data layer. So using, of course, one lake to really get all the data come together. And if you know, in Microsoft Fabric has a number of ways of getting data to one lake, either mirroring or shortcut for many different data sources into your one lake space. And you see that over here and in some of these other slides, like from SAP and other environments. Then, of course, you got your medallion architecture, which, of course, you're familiar with, your bronze layer, your raw data, your silver layer, where you manipulate the data, and your gold layer, where you make it available to your semantic layer or to other layers out there. And, of course, data contextualization, as I mentioned before, very important. I skipped this quite quickly because you can look at it here. Especially here, these are the three elements of IQ. Work IQ. Work IQ is all about getting access to your unstructured data. So personalization learns about your and your team's ways of working, implicit, explicit memory actions. So Work IQ gives the ontology layer access to the relevant unstructured data. Your Foundry IQ will give access to your ontology layer of all the data sources not covered by Fabric. And it can be many different data sources not covered by Fabric. And then Fabric IQ is really the component of your ontology layer, which has access to all the data accessible via Fabric. So if you add the three together, your Fabric data, your other non-Fabric related data, and your unstructured data, your bits will cover everything. That together tells you the whole story into your ontology layer. The total of Work IQ, Foundry IQ, and Fabric IQ is your complete enterprise context, the blue part. And on top of that, then you have your Copilot, Copilot, and agents, etc., to really start playing with that data and get value out of that data. And if you find more information about that over here. So that was very much about the ontology layer. It's very new, but very important. Also coming to the market for Microsoft is also, we talk about ontology. Ontology gives you access to the information here and now. Microsoft Planning has been released in preview, and really will give you your business plans for the future. It will represent your business plan. So Ontology is all about what is out there today as we speak. Microsoft Planning in Fabric is all about create your business plan for the coming 6 months, 12 months, 2 years, 5 years, whatever. That's all about what planning will bring to the Fabric space as well. Let's talk about the real-time component, RTI, because we have done several developments. I include them over here for reference. We developed several RTI-based solutions, RTI and Agentic AI-based solutions. So we use Fabric RTI for real-time streaming of data to your Fabric environment, and using Agentic AI for really having the workflows, the operational workflows to manipulate the data, do all the things with the data I want to do. And it can be manipulate the data, cleansing the data, maintenance start doing something with the data, engineering start doing something with the data. So whatever the process will be, it's a combination of RTI and Agentic AI. And in this spec, we've included a number of solutions. This one is about monitoring temperature, real-time temperature in your manufacturing sites. We're talking about air quality monitoring, etc. You find always a combination of RTI components on the left, and on the right you find then your Agentic AI components. I won't go into more detail. Just look at this slide back at your lesson later, because to make sure I make the timelines. Acuvate is not a feature we have. What is Acuvate? Another accelerator. So we've spoken so far about Acu7 as an accelerator. We've spoken about AcuPrism as an accelerator. We spoke to you about AcuLoom as an accelerator. Now we talk about Acuvate. Acuvate has two capabilities. Number one, it can really bring your sorry, let me go back over here. It goes over here. Yeah, it has two capabilities. First, it can migrate your current Salesforce dashboards and your Salesforce dashboarding, dashboards. You can bring these to them at really your Salesforce Tableau dashboards. I have to call them. They come from Tableau. We have a tool developed to almost fully automate the migration of these Tableau dashboards to Microsoft Fabric Power BI, which gives you a much lower cost solution than you have with Tableau. It's about 85% automated, and also manual steps to be completed as well. So that's for your Tableau dashboards. You can do the same for your Oracle databases, or for your Oracle on-premise databases, or for instance for your SQL Server on-premise databases. We can fully automate their migration to Fabric, the Fabric environment, the Fabric One Lake environment. So these are examples of things you can do with Acuvate as an accelerator. We have DAMRQ. If you're an asset owner, your assets mean you got pumps, you got maybe engines, conveyor belts, you name it. Each of these assets have an identifier, a tag ID, and the tag ID might have unique number of the device. And the tag ID information often is stored in a tag register, where you find for all the assets you have in the factory a tag ID and a tag register. We keep track of the tag ID. So this is very important, because this gives you the unique identifier of every component you have in a factory, and you need it for maintenance purposes, for asset recognition purposes. However, often these tag registers are very poorly maintained. Often they are sitting in Excel spreadsheets. Often a company has multiple Excel spreadsheets, not maintained, and therefore there's not really a clear overview of what are all the drawings you have, your engineering drawings, your cabling drawings, your P&ID files, your piping instrumentation diagram files, your safety drawings, your instrumentation drawings, etc., and which tech ID is stored in which drawing. Often in companies, you ask any manufacturing site and any energy site, most of them struggle with this information. So therefore, we have developed what we call Diagram IQ, another accelerator. And here's the examples of these drawings. This is a PID drawing, piping instrumentation diagram. The top left, you see a native, top bottom, scanned. On the right, you see all the information we've scanned from that drawing. This is the same for electrical drawings, same instrumentation drawings, and the same for safety drawings. So what we do with that is the following. On the left, the green box, you see your engineering drawing management system. And every manufacturing site or any energy site will have an EDMS service. It can be SharePoint, can be very simple, where you store all your drawings. So that's not part of our scope. We interface with that. Our scope is on the right. And the box on the left, you see we digitize and we scan all drawings at high speed. So any drawing you might have, and often you have tens of thousands of drawings, we scan these drawings. So we extract all the tech information and store that tech information in the box in the middle of the tech register. So the tech register has all tech IDs you have in the company, and for every tech ID, which drawing they're stored, what other information we have available about these tech IDs, fully up to date, and we keep it up to date. In addition, we digitize all the P&D files, the piping instrumentation diagrams. So we scan them and digitize them and put that information into a knowledge graph. So you can find at any one time in the P&D file. So you make the smart P&D file. You can find at any one time what are the connections from each component to every other component, or any type of questions you would like to ask. So we're creating two stores, a tech register with all the tech IDs of the company for the whole enterprise, and with information, link information about in which drawings information about the tech IDs is stored, and it can create a real-time link to the green part to show the drawing as well. And it also shows any other relevant information about text, whatever tech information you need to keep. And the knowledge graph is really your digital representation of your PID. At the top, you have then your web portal, where you do full manipulation of all your tech IDs. You can add tech IDs, you can do a large-scale load of tech IDs, you can update them. You got different roles out there. So you got the typical users, you got administrators, super users, what have you. They all have different privileges, and you got workflows for people who cannot make changes to the tech IDs. And on the right, you see Gen AI Assistant, which is Microsoft Copilot, where we can ask any question. You can ask any question about any tech ID in your own language. So the Copilot has a full-blown interface, both the tech register and the knowledge graph. Of course, the user from the Copilot doesn't know there are two interfaces over there, but it gives you full access in simple terms to that environment. So this Diagram IQ is an accelerator. We bring it to the market as an accelerator. Very soon, we'll also launch it as in a Microsoft Marketplace as a full product. You then can go to the marketplace, select the product, and it will be automatically made available in your environment, and you pay an annual fee for a complete tool with update as well, etc. So it will have two releases. Accelerator, if you want to have changes to that tool, or if you say I want to use the standard tool, we make it available as a standard product in Microsoft Marketplace. And here you see the various components we're using for this tool. Last one to talk about asset management, manufacturing asset management, whether most of the building will be spoken about. On the left, you see the plants where we have the Aveva software coming in. I spoke about your OSIsoft price streaming data, your other edge environment. So this is the data, where the data comes in from the assets, your OT data, your IT data, your ET data. We store all the data in Acuvate in the middle in your Fabric environment. That Fabric environment as a clear link to your tech register Diagram IQ, because all the data of Tech ID is stored in your Acuprism Fabric environment. And if we can make the data available, we support 3 digital twins. We support a KDI Cognitwin, a very sophisticated digital twin. We support a Capmatic ESET 3D digital twin. And soon we're also going to support a 2D digital twin called Peanut.io, which is a very sophisticated 2D digital twin. So you have choices for very fast deployment of your digital twin solutions, fully integrated with Acuprism. And on the left, you see Fabric IQ, your enterprise semantic model. On top of it, you see Fabric IQ, where we have full support for the ontology layer with agents. I'll show you some of the agents out here, Agentic Agent, and of course Copilot. These are all elements of the asset management for manufacturing side, because you keep in Acuprism, in your SAP environment, you keep your maintenance information, you keep your asset information fully accessible into Acuprism. You keep in Diagram IQ all your tech information, and you have all the content information in Acuprism. You can make it visible in an integrated way with your digital twin, and you can ask any type of question about the operations of your environment, of your asset management environment, via ontology layer. So this is the full story of all elements coming together, where the data from left gets into Acuprism, Microsoft Fabric, where the tech data sits in Microsoft Fabric, the digital twin goes to Microsoft Fabric, and of course also the ontology sits on top of Microsoft Fabric. And here you see the various components. So here in this session today, you got the latest overview of the many Fabric developments in Acuvate. We have a broad spectrum we have of course many Fabric certified staff who can help you with the implementation or rollout of Fabric. We have several accelerators to speed up deployment of Fabric-based tooling like Aculoom, like Diagram IQ today. We got Gen AI accelerators. We had Agentic AI accelerator. We got accelerated in many different pieces to speed up the development of Agentic AI and infrastructure, but also the data layer and the AI layer. So please reach out, come to our home site, ask advice, and we really help you, give you advice what best to do in your environment based on our experience. It's all free to give you advice on what to do, or if you want to go further, we have also so-called data health checks where we can give you a full review of your data story and tell you what best to move to. So thanks so much for your time today. If you have any further questions, please at any time reach out. So thank you very much. Bye-bye.